Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
If you've been hurt in a road accident that wasn't your fault, you should really talk to G4 Claims first. Unlike road accident solicitors, we don't charge you for our services, which could see you better off. To keep 100% of your compensation, have a chat with Nicole and the team. You'll be glad you did. Search online for G4 Claims.
Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
Actually, that's a really good thing I want to mention. Are we recording? I can tell this story. So I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
You hate what?
Sweet Caroline.
Oh, right, Sweet Caroline.
Do you not think it's just shit and so overplayed? And like the fucking England one at the weekend, and the Sweet Caroline.
Do you know who Sweet Caroline was wrote for?
I don't know whose mom was called Caroline.
It was wrote for the daughter of John Fitzgerald Kennedy.
Oh, was it?
Post-assassination, yes.
Well, I'm sure that cheered her up and made everything better.
No, I agree, because see, the thing is, it's actually a really good song. I like it, but it's become that overplayed. It's become that used.
And see, when you're out, like, and it comes on, and everyone tries to get their bit in the gap of what they want to sing. You know, it's just
some better than others, to say the least. Some better than others. Anyway, welcome back to Talk Scottish Football. It's episode 109, and as you'll notice, sitting to the right hand side of me, he's back from the beyond, ladies and gentlemen. David Buick, how you
doing? I'm very bright today. I feel very bright.
The lights are a bit bright, aren't they?
I'm wearing white for a change.
It's early morning. This is the first time we've done an early morning show in a long time.
I'm wide awake.
You feeling good, eh?
Fucking starving though.
You've got a full can of Coke there, so that'll sharpen you up the
sugar boost to get me through.
And then obviously to the right hand side of David, we've got Calum. How are you doing, lad?
Not too bad. It's been a while since I've been to record one of these, so should be fun.
Calum did a wee pre-match recording in box on Saturday night.
What were you singing in box?
I don't know, the band was fucking magical. Calum had turned up, I'd not had a pint yet, and I was absolutely fucking plastered.
How plastered?
I don't know, I was probably chewing the ear off from something rotten, to be fair.
I mean, we did think it was that Brooke Coombe that was playing. It did look very much like her.
It did look like her. I thought it was her at first, but it wasn't. But she was very good, whoever was singing. Yeah.
Well, we're here to review all of the Scottish Premiership fixtures from the weekend, and the Championship, and the League One, and the League Two. We've got all those leagues to go.
It was a struggle to make you talk about the Championship. We'll have an even bigger struggle this season.
Did you watch the last podcast?
Yes.
That was a struggle. It was a struggle.
A real lack of Dunfermline chat, which upset me greatly.
I mean, there's not much to say about Dunfermline.
If I'm not on, I watch the intro and then skip to the Championship. Well, League One I skip to now.
Aye.
I'm joking, I don't actually do
You
that.
enjoying League One so far?
It's been a hoot, we've won a game.
Not something you've done that often last season.
No.
But we're on a bit of a tight schedule today, because we are planning on recording back-to-back shows very quickly. Calum starts work at 1 o'clock. It's 25 past 10. We need to get back to Glasgow. So we're going to try and rifle through today's shows, and we're also giving you the best quality content as we possibly can, because we are that good.
We are sensational.
We're sensational.
We're nice to be back. Even the group chat's getting there's a bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, but everyone's kind of like back at it.
Everybody's getting their
we all needed that summer break. We've now got a bit of productivity happening.
Yes.
We're organising shows in advance. Like Dev's already on organising the next show.
That's right.
He's not messing around.
8 o'clock this morning he was asking. I was like, Christ, David, nobody's at their fucking bed.
Well, before we even recorded last week's show, I was getting this one sorted. We've got to be fucking
up for the Highlands and everything.
Right,
well, let's get into the Premiership firstly, because it's back, and Celtic are top of the league already. Love it. We'll start with the Rangers game, because that was the game that kicked off the season with a shock opener, as John Newbley scored the opening goal of the Premiership campaign.
Did you say John Newbley?
Is that his name?
No.
It says John Newbley here.
It's not Joel Newbley.
Is that no John?
I say John right enough. It's not John.
Is it not John?
No, it's definitely not John.
Is it not John?
Joel Newbley.
John Newbley.
That's what Google they call Edward.
Sorry. Well, I'm calling him Big John Newbley. Shows you how much we pay attention. But
the fucking best player in the Championship last season for Arbroath. He was outstanding.
Big Newbley, he got the opener this campaign as Livingston took an early lead against Rangers. However, Rangers fought back to win 2-1 in the end with 2 goals in about 100 seconds in that second half. I'll start with you, Calum, over on that right hand side of the table. We've got 2 Celtic fans on today, so I don't want to make things look biased, but Rangers sort of struggled through the game up until the point where they did equalise and they did have control of it, but they were finding it hard to get a goal. They finally did, and that kind of turned the game on its head for them. But there was that feeling as the game went on that they weren't going to lose that game. I didn't think Livingston could hold on that long.
No, definitely. I think also Livingston started the first half quite well. I thought they go out, they chase it down, they get themselves the goal. But then you almost, as you said, you knew Rangers weren't going to stay behind. You knew they always had a goal in them at least. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think McLaughlin could maybe do a bit better. He gets caught in that mindset of, do I rush him or should I have just stayed? Gets caught in no man's land. Obviously the boy puts the ball over the top, and good finish, don't take that away from him, but then again, obviously you don't want to seem dead biased, but even that, I don't think Suter had the best against.
It would been a shock of a goal.
There.
He's done far too easily with a goal, didn't he? Big Soapy, he's not had a good debut, and he's getting lots of stick already. So that's the difference when you play for an old firm team. It's just fucking relentless.
Yeah, it's every game you've got the expectation to play to the levels.
Very much Julian at Livingston vibes, wasn't it?
Yeah, it reminded me of Carol Starfelt last season when he first played for Celtic and people weren't so sure about him and he was coming under a little bit of pressure.
What is it with your names? I'm sure he just said Carol. Did he not just say Carol? It sounded like you just said Carol Starfelt.
Carol, what else is his name?
Carol, is it not?
Carol Starfelt.
Carol.
Mate, Scottish
people. Your Moz pal, Carol.
Scottish people can't say Carl normally.
Can't say fucking Joel either.
Listen, I'll walk out that fucking door.
You've been taking it easy on you since I've been away.
Too early for this shite. But it was like also kind of like Carl Starfelt last year when he came in and he came under a little bit of pressure straight away. I think Suter will do better. He'll obviously improve on that opening performance. Maybe it's just first game nerves, and it's not an easy place to go to for your first game. The Tony Macaroni. Livingston did bring the fight to Rangers straight away. Obviously didn't go that way throughout the game, but
they got fucking battered in the second half.
They got
absolutely battered.
It was coming a second.
As soon as Rangers got one, you knew.
I didn't think Rangers looked anything special throughout the game, but in the second half they certainly did create chances. They had 40 crosses by the time the game was done. They were peppering the goal, and it was only a matter of time. As soon as that free kick was given, I just knew it was going in the back of the net. I just had a feeling. As soon as they put down the ball to take it, I was like, yeah, that's going to go in, and it did. It was 2-1.
Keeper side too. Keeper was a bit of a.
Yeah, it was a bit of a, could have done a bit better.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's a win to start the season for Rangers.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank God that Martindale went in the Rangers podcast, because otherwise they definitely wouldn't have lost the game, Livingston. They had to win. It was important they won, but it did make you think, Christ, if they drop points on the opening day, it's going to be a fucking big weekend if Celtic can go and win. But luckily Rangers got the job done for them, and I wouldn't say they put pressure on Celtic, but because they almost slipped up, Celtic had to be wary that they didn't, and they both didn't.
I touched on that point in my video yesterday Sunday, my preview game. You don't want to be. Last year we had to play catch up for 70% of the season probably, and as much as we won the league, it's not a nice feeling knowing that you have to play catch up. So if we had to start the season like that again, there certainly was. I don't think there was necessarily pressure on Celtic, but there was an added pressure to try and go and win against Aberdeen, so they weren't playing catch up once more.
What did we make of? Well, my big thing coming at that was obviously Suter goes off, and Rangers don't have a centre half on the bench. Now obviously Ben Davis is in and needs to come in, but and without Bassey as well, I think an injury to Barisic, I still think they're light at the back. And they'll leave Davis to come in, but I feel like they're light in that area. Going forward, obviously Morelos is to come back. He was in, where was he? Was it Wonderbar he was in on Friday night?
Oh, was he?
You're off the phone I've seen on Twitter. That's what people
normally
say.
He's in Sanctuary, but I don't know. He was definitely on the piss at the weekend. Fair play to him.
Well, that's the thing about Rangers. They're only going to get better with adding players into the team.
But it's strange. Like this time last year, their squad was just so set, and you knew what the team was.
Yeah.
And Celtic are now like that way. It's flipped on its head completely.
Yeah, because obviously we've got Yilmaz to come in. You've got Davies, as you said. You've got all these guys. So it could be a very different looking Rangers team, and by the time the World Cup rolls round.
Yes. The disallowed goal for Livingston. I haven't actually seen it back.
Disallowed goal?
There was a whistle goal in the second half. Apparently there was fuck all wrong with it.
Comes back at McLaughlin's
I think the whistle goes before it's in the net, so it kind of doesn't really matter because VAR wouldn't be able to do anything about that. But
I don't even remember a disallowed goal.
There was no replay shown on the TV, but it was like what was there was no one could see. I mean, I'm yet to see it again. But there was a bit of a
hoo-ha. A good few times now.
There didn't seem to be much wrong with it anyway.
I don't even.
That would have been to make it 2 each.
I watched the full game as well. I watched it on 90 minutes. I can't even remember it.
Replay it, but yeah.
Wow. All right. Okay. Rangers also, they had a goal that crossed the line or whatnot, and or not, sorry, not off crossed the line, the offside or whatever it was, and probably should have stood. But,
Yeah,
definitely.
to be honest, I'm almost glad they won, because I don't think I could have been arsed with that in the opening weekend.
Yeah, and VAR will be in, of course.
Well, they're talking. They said that there was a story that it was in operation. Was there not a story that it was in operation at Livingston at the weekend as like a trial to see how it works? And they're talking if these trials go well, it could be in for October.
Okay.
So they're desperate to get it in. But I mean, if you're going to pay the money for it, you might as well get it in as soon as possible.
Well, Rangers anyway, they won their opening game of the season. It meant that Celtic had to go and win the following day, and they did go and win the following day. A 2-0 win against Aberdeen at Celtic Park. A very good atmosphere on Saturday, Calum, with the league flag being raised, the full stadium display. How nice was it to be back at Paradise?
No, I mean, sadly I was stuck in work, so I didn't quite get the full joys out.
How good was it to watch it on the television?
Fantastic. No, obviously it's nice to see Celtic back in a competitive sort of fixture. It's nice that all the pre-season stuff's out the window, but I think it's just... We started the game obviously strong. You get the goal within the first 3 minutes, and you think, right, this is good for us, but then I felt as if there was times we did have wee gaps in us, and we've seen Aberdeen get through and get those chances. It was quite annoying to see, but also, I mean, you've seen Angie's sort of post-match comments. He certainly wasn't best pleased with it.
Yeah, I think similar to Rangers, both sides have probably got a gear or two to move up from the opening games of the season. I don't think Celtic were necessarily bad, and obviously Ange will be critical, and rightly so, but Celtic controlled the game, David. They were really kind of on the front foot for the vast majority of it, and on another day maybe they would have scored 4 or 5 of the chances
you
that
thought
they
it was
missed.
when that goal goes in, you think it's going to be 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I thought Aberdeen were alright, actually.
Yeah,
if I'm honest, I thought they were decent, actually, especially on the counter-attack. They looked really, really threatening at times, and there was a spell for about 20 minutes at the end of the first half where Celtic were hoping for half-time, because Johnny Hayes has that chance. It's a huge chance.
It was nice of him to miss it. Yes.
But they were getting forward regularly, and Celtic were giving the ball away a lot, and you're thinking that goal here could make it interesting. They didn't get it. Second half, Celtic were a lot more comfortable. There was a wee spell in the game where I thought if Aberdeen get a goal, they've maybe got half a chance or something. But so I think for them, there's something to take. You can certainly see that Goodwin's made a bit of a...
Yeah, I think there's been significant improvement.
Completely different squad, isn't it, really?
Yeah. That's one thing. I turned around to David and Kieran at the game, and I said to them, like, I'm looking at it, for the last sort of 5 to 6 years since we've had a season ticket, Aberdeen have always been a very similar looking side. And that was the first time I sat down and went, wow, that looks like a different team.
Yeah. But you take McCrory and Hayes... Who else would have played at the weekend? That's pretty much it, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I was impressed with the boy at right back, Richardson. I thought Stewart at the centre half was good. He was a bit clumsy at times, but he's a big, solid centre half. And obviously, still got Scales to come in, who had started very well for them in pre-season. And the boy up front looks a handful too. So from Aberdeen, for their point of view, I think it's positives to take. But yeah, you're right. Second half, Celtic turned it on again a little bit, and what a goal to seal it. To be fair,
Jota's just Calum, a special talent, isn't he? I think it's one of those goals that just solidifies that he is the best player in this league.
I think that's what you pay the money for, isn't it? You pay the money for the top calibre. It's a brilliant finish. I think it was when he started it on the right. I don't think he started the game the strongest. I think when he then switched when Maeda comes out onto the left, you can tell that probably is his favourite position, because he loves to cut in on that right and just tries to whip it in for the back post. But I think, as David touched on, the boy Stewart, the centre half, I think he done quite well against Kyogo. As I said, he was a wee bit clumsy, but also he done his job to pick him off.
Is he the new captain?
Right, so I need to do I've been pissed all weekend, so I haven't done my research on this, right? But I was absolutely convinced Ross McCrory was the new Aberdeen captain. Now, I'm sure I heard that, because when he was in Seville and there was all that stuff about the Aberdeen captain being in Seville, so maybe they've changed it and he is the captain, but he had the armband at the weekend, so he must be. But he looks good, to be fair. What did you make of the penalty shout? I don't think it's a penalty kick on Hatate at all.
It's a very weird one, because the way that I look at it was, it looks like a penalty, but the way that Hatate's already kind of on the way down,
he's never getting to the ball anyway.
Makes it a bit more difficult to judge. The way that I worded it was, I'm not going to cry about it, because
I don't think VAR overturns it.
I understand why it's not a penalty, but I think you've seen lesser given.
If it was given, I could understand it, but at the same time, I don't think it was. And also, we're going to have lots of talk between now and VAR being introduced of VAR would overturn that, but we've all watched the Premier League. It takes a lot for VAR to disagree with the referee. I don't think that would have been the case where they would have overruled him. It certainly wasn't a clear and obvious error. I mean, yeah, it's clumsy, the guy goes to ground, but there's an angle actually from behind the goal where it doesn't look like a penalty at all, but ultimately it didn't matter again. Celtic sealed the game comfortably, but you look at the substitutions that the Celtic made, and that's the difference between this time last year and now. I mean, the subs, Giakoumakis and Abada, both could easily be claiming to be starting. Yeah, and Giakoumakis was desperate for a goal, wasn't he? He's so pissed off.
That one that he missed, I thought that was guaranteed to hit the back of the net, and then obviously it goes wide. But that's, it's a good headache Celtic can have between the two strikers. I think both of them were disappointed not to have scored in the opening day because there is that in-house competition between them now. But the goals will come for the two of them. It's only a matter of time. I mean, both of them had big chances at the weekend. They just happened to not find the back of the net. So
yeah, and Stephen Welsh had a good game as well.
Welsh, he did have a good game. He did, and I think that he's now out to justify why Ange knocked back £3.5 million.
Yeah, it's a little bit of pressure to him, but he lost it at the weekend.
Yep.
So yeah, good weekend for both the gruesome twosome.
Yeah, the gruesome twosome. Yes. Oh, don't lie, you love one of them. You're joking before you start, making up
there's so much
conspiracies.
evidence out there on this channel that you could make the case for both.
Right, okay, let's turn our attentions to the other games around the Scottish Premiership this weekend, and we'll start off with let's start with Motherwell, because Motherwell are of course a team who
Jobbies.
very weird situation. A manager sacked before a ball was kicked this season. Graham Alexander gone out of Europe with an embarrassing defeat to Sligo Rovers. Down to 10 men, but they managed to beat St Mirren 1-0. However, and before I let you two comment on the game, St Mirren fans, funnily enough, writing on social media and such, after the performance, a lot of them being a lot more optimistic than what they were before a ball was kicked, because of how they performed against Motherwell. What are you thinking?
Stephen Robinson had a tough end to the season, tough start to his spell and tough end to the season, but again it always kind of is that way when you've not got your own players and all the rest of it. So I think St Mirren fans were on a bit of a downer coming into it. Motherwell's an interesting one. I mean, it just shows how in football you can spin stats and results to make any kind of narrative. So obviously they had a shocking second half of the season last year, but end of the season they're going at Europe, we're in Europe, we're all going on a European tour. Graham Alexander's taking my little Europe magic. 2 games later he's sacked, right? So I mean, it's mental. But I think they'd won like 2 games since January, so he was on a sugary peg anyway. But again, if he'd have got through that European game, he was probably safe for a good wee while.
Yep.
Stevie Hamill took the team at the weekend. Fuck knows what happens there. Hopefully Big Dingus gets that job again. Get him back.
Big Dingus?
Just keep him in the league for the sake of it.
I mean, that would be
He
something.
did great things at Motherwell.
Great things, yes.
He did do well at Motherwell, did he not?
I think he did alright, to be fair. He wasn't the
Was he not
worst.
there when Michael Higdon was like top scorer in the first
I think so. I was going to say something there. When it comes to the managerial the hiring process, it sounds like that Stevie Hamill will be in with the board this week, and what's his face? What's the guy, the chief executive?
Alan Burrows.
Alan Burrows. Apparently he's meeting with the board and Alan Burrows and such this week to discuss it. He said he's not giving it much thought on actually getting the job. Now, to me, honestly, they've won their first game. If things continue to go well,
Could be one of them, you just let him have it.
he'll get the job.
Yeah.
In Scottish football, and this is why I brought this point up the car coming home from the game the other day, and I was like, this is why are fans and why are people so shocked when teams start to suddenly do shit 2 years later? Because they're not going through a process and actually finding a suitable match. They're just giving it to the easy, cheap option. Go out and find somebody. Go out and interview somebody. Don't just give it to somebody on an interim basis. If nobody learned their lessons from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like, do your fucking research,
Yeah,
man.
3.5 years later, you still thought he was going to win the Premier League.
Right, but that's delusion. Obviously, that was delusion, right? But like in Scotland, it's just so typical for guys to get these jobs on an interim basis, then 2 years later they're sacked because they've hit the biggest slump ever. Now, I know that can happen with the amount of turnaround there is in Scottish teams. That can happen with any manager. But I just feel like you should go out there and you should hire an actual manager rather than someone on an interim basis and just give them the job. My opinion.
Right, but were you not just advocating for Stevie Hamill getting the job?
No.
I thought you were just saying if he wins a couple of games.
No, I say that'll probably happen. I didn't say I think it should happen.
Yeah.
I think that'll probably happen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, who I'd love to see get the job? Someone who left his job as a
Peter Grant,
as a number 2 because he wanted to manage Duncan Ferguson.
Oh, aye.
He'd probably do better than Motherwell, right enough.
Yeah,
but it would be so good.
Yeah. So I mean,
imagine that.
It would be fun. It would be fun to see.
Imagine like Celtic playing Motherwell on a Tuesday night and it's like 0-0.
Tuesday night, we have Champions League to worry about, boy.
Well, okay, in February.
Fuck off.
And then him and Andrew just scrapping on the touchline.
Maybe that would
be
make some
glorious.
entertainment. Yeah, Calum, St Mirren were all over them. Motherwell just took their chance when they got it, being down to 10 men. I think St Mirren will be disappointed they never converted many of the chances they made.
Definitely. I mean, even at that, but Liam Kelly had a much better game then as opposed to against Sligo Rovers. I mean, you see the first goal he concedes against them, the free kick. It's shocking. It's his side. He's not even got the sun in his eyes as an excuse. He's got nothing. For me, he has to save that, but certainly he redeemed himself at the weekend.
Oh, world of a save. But he's such a weird one, Liam Kelly, because he's always been... You look at the Scotland goalie situation and it makes me panic because we don't have any good young goalies, but he's kind of the one you thought would be. But then he went to Motherwell, started okay, but then he had some shockers last season too. So, he's obviously still a good age for a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers don't hit their prime until they're like mid-30s. So, but yeah, he did well for Motherwell, which is good because defensively they've been a shambles. Yeah, but it's a massive 3 points because I think if they'd lost that game and then they go a few weeks without getting a gaffer and they lose again, it could be a long old season.
It could be. Right, okay, let's move ourselves on to Tynecastle. Okay, you've chosen Tynecastle. Hearts 2, Ross County 1 in a game what you expected Hearts to win, but hard fought win to say the least, and Ross County showing once again they're no going to be pushovers this season. Thoughts on the games, lads?
Yeah, Ross County... They were alright actually, and it's amazing because you think about. I think did everyone pretty much have Ross County tipped to go down last season?
Yeah, last season
we all pretty much did. And
Adam
Mackay, to be fair to him, has done an unbelievable job there, which I don't think anyone saw coming, and they'll have a good season as well. They recruit really well too. But for Hearts, I think Hearts will pretty much be. It's weird because I've not done my predictions, so this is all kind of new for people. But I'm pretty sure Hearts will finish third again this year. Again, they've recruited well.
It's mad that Alan Forrest is going to have a better season than James Forrest.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they've added Alan Forrest and Lawrence Shanklin to a team that was already doing pretty well last season is really interesting. And Barry Mackay's goal was fantastic.
Oh, it was lovely.
Absolute scorcher of a goal, to be fair to him.
It's a touch and it takes him in perfect
like
from the wee feint.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. To be fair.
I see that they had a display as well at the weekend, Hearts.
It's mental how things have turned round at Tynecastle in the space of 18 months, isn't it?
Mental how Kennedy's been forced to eat his words.
Yeah, and considering his personal grievances with Robbie Nielsen.
Very personal.
But like they've just got new deals as well, and everyone's going delighted. It's crazy how things. And honestly, as much as I think Robbie Nielsen's a knob, he has done an unbelievable job in the last 18 months.
Yeah, and it's a good start, Calum, for Hearts. I mean, you've seen the highlights and all the rest of it, so you'll be able to comment on the game itself. But Hearts are in a situation where, of course, European football is quickly approaching, so it's paramount importance for them to start the campaign well, because things are going to come in thick and fast for them, and how they handle the balance of domestic and European football could be tricky. So to get points on the board early is very important for Nielsen.
I think definitely. I thought they would maybe try and add a wee bit more depth to the squad. Also with Suter leaving, I thought they'd try and get another centre half in, just sort of bulk it up a bit. I think the main one I'd sort of picked up on was the boy Awura. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. He was good at left wing for Ross County. I thought he was phenomenal. It was very unlucky. There's one, he takes the ball perfect down the line and just shimmies in. Sort of tries to bend it round, hits the ball. He was very unlucky. See, overall, I think Ross County are unlucky to actually walk away without at least a point.
Yeah. I know they were down 2-0, but as I said, through the game, they were showing that they're not going to be pushed about again this year. And I think that I've got them predicted for 8th this season. They are certainly. Malky Mackay is a good enough manager to have them pushing again for a top 6 finish. They will be there or thereabouts, I think. And they've shown that in a tough opening game against Hearts.
But obviously, huge for us to get 3 points, especially because next up, of course, is Hibernian.
The Hibis.
Next weekend. Is it Tynecastle, I think, as well. I mean, that's going to be a huge game, especially because, Hibs, they're in a bit of a spot. Obviously they won at the weekend, but things aren't exactly rosy at Easter Road.
Well, do you want to take ourselves over to Perth then for Hibs' 90th minute drama?
Have you ever seen a team so definitely relegated in the first game of the season?
Jeez, they're doomed, aren't they? And
I can't see any way that they're not.
They're just so poor. And I was listening to Calum Davidson on Sky Sports at the weekend. I think they had a clip up where they had every manager and they were asking what do you want to do this season? And Calum Davidson just sounded defeated already.
But what can he do? We said this at the time. He's never going to be able to be successful again. No matter what he does, he will never ever at St Johnstone do anything like he has done.
And that's the thing, they have got money sitting in the bank. They can exactly.
But there's no signs.
But they're not signing anybody. They're not going out there and making convincing signings.
And they're still playing 3 at the back. I met a St Johnstone fan in Malaga at the weekend, actually. I was just sitting in the pub and this guy had a St Johnstone top on. I was like, oh, okay. So me being me, at 3 a.m. at an after party, decided to talk about Calum Davidson in the 3-5-2. So we did, and he was just raging. He's like, he's still playing 3 at the back. He needs to go. And St Johnstone fans all want rid of him, and he's arguably like the best manager in their history.
He is the best manager in their history.
Well, I mean,
maybe except
the most
Tommy
successful
Wright.
anyway, in terms of what he did in that season.
Do you think there's a door open for the return of Tommy Wright?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. You see it on Twitter, who says no all the time, but I mean that's a genuine who does say no.
Yeah,
because especially if they need to just stay up. I know he didn't manage it with Kelly, but if he gets enough time. Basically, if St Johnstone are bottom of the league in October, Calum Davidson will be gone, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think Calum Davidson's another one. Now that Alexander's gone, I think the clock is ticking on Calum Davidson's part. I think he's maybe the next up on that. Him and Robinson are probably the two that are walking the tightest of wires, I'd say. But certainly Davidson. Calum, from a Hibs point of view, not the most convincing of wins, of course. They left it very late. But I suppose that the main thing was to go away and win for Lee Johnson, and have done that. What did you make of the Hibs' performance in the game?
But from what I've seen, I thought they're quite wasteful at times. I mean, Liam Henderson has a brilliant chance halfway through the first half, comes right in, and nobody challenged him and managed to put it near enough back towards where it came from. I think as the game went on, I think St Johnstone were quite unlucky to go down to 10 and Hibs not do the same. It's very similar tackles in a sense for it, but for one to be a red man, a yellow, it's very harsh in St John's. I think also you see that's where you end up with that extra man, and that's sort of where a goal comes from.
We're talking about managers for St Johnstone, and I've not really been on a show over the summer to have a chance to talk about this, but Lee Johnson is just going to be a disaster at Hibs, and I can't see any other way that he won't be a disaster. He's a clown for a start. That stuff about fucking Bashiri and the ineligibility and all that, for he was blaming what a clown. Every team every week has a list of players that are eligible and not eligible, and he just didn't read it properly. It's his own fucking fault. But anyway, the fact that Hibs chose Lee Johnson over John Dal Thomason, I still find absolutely mental. That is just the most nuts thing I could not believe that they did that. But he went to Blackburn, did he not, in the end?
Yep.
And after he did such a good job, was it Malmo he's at? And he would have been great for the Cinch after his comments last season. He would have been. Hibs have let everyone down by not going for him and getting Lee Johnson instead.
Lee Johnson, I was baffled by that decision as well, to go for him over the likes of John Dal Thomason. But he obviously got a big job down in Blackburn.
But he was ready to go to Hibs. Hibs turned him down before that came up.
It's crazy. It's crazy. How long do you give Lee Johnson in the managerial roundabout?
Listen, I mean, he's just won his open game this season, right? I know they've not had a great League Cup campaign, but he's going to get time because the Hibs can't afford to keep sacking managers. They gave Sean Maloney how long did he get? 6 months?
6 months.
Who was before Jack Ross got a decent spell. Paul Heckingbottom didn't get long, to be fair.
Yep.
Maloney
was just.
Maloney was just so stupid. If you weren't going to give him a transfer window, what the fuck was the point of appointing him?
Yeah.
Still find that absolutely bizarre. But yeah, Hibs need to start. I mean, next week's huge. If Hibs can win next week, then things can turn really quickly. You get a couple of extra bodies in, and the one thing we're forgetting about. They've got a player to come back who's going to be like a new signing in Kevin Nisbet, who's going to come back from injury, hopefully with a bit of form.
Forgot he existed.
Exactly, that's the thing. Everyone is forgetting he
existed.
And he's. I know he wasn't in great form before he got injured, but he is a good player. He's going to score goals.
Yep.
So he'll be like a brand new signing and as good as any other signing they can get in.
Would you take him back at the Palace?
Mate, I wish.
He wishes.
I still wish they'd sell him for they turned it was like 4 million.
Because you were due a bit of money, weren't you?
So 1.3 million we were due if that had gone through. But anyway, so that's going to be interesting. But next week's huge. It must be Easter Road actually if Hearts are at home this weekend.
Yeah, probably. And then finally, the last game of the weekend, another one with some late drama, as Kelly got a 91st minute equaliser to take points off of Dundee United, who looked good for a win in their opening game of the season.
Big Ash Taylor.
10 men hindering Dundee United in the end of the game. But Ash Taylor, as you said, he was there to deliver. I'll start with you, Calum. I mean, late drama. Kelly, do you think they deserved their point in the end?
Yeah, I mean, see from what I've seen overall highlights-wise, I feel as if Kelly would actually... It's quite harsh for them to take a draw from that. As said, I mean, Dundee United deservedly go down to 10 men. It's very stupid from Ian Harkins. It's just pointless challenges that he goes for, and then another one that's just stupid because he tries to kick the ball for the keeper and he's plinting it. It's actually quite nice to see Kelly also, like in previous years people have known Kelly to be a team that just sit in, they'll just go and try to play the
football.
It's actually quite down at McInnes, actually got them playing decent stuff, it seems.
I think Derek McInnes is a really good manager, and I think we kind of forgotten that a little bit towards the end of his spell at Aberdeen. So Kelly could do well. They've got the eye in the top 6. They've got to, because there's so many teams that are in that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean,
have you done a league table prediction? Like, have you got one?
We'll probably run through it after we've done this.
I was going to ask if you got one to go through.
Let's do it.
Right, we'll do it. We'll wait till we finish talking about this game very quickly. I think that Dylan Levitt getting a goal was good as well, considering he's been obviously the big talk at Dundee United after signing. I mean, Kennedy must have been jizzing his pants when he scored. But I mean, pretty good result for Kilmarnock, all things. I know they, as you said, I think they deserved more than a point, to be honest, by the way that they were playing. Dundee United, of course, they have a lot of changes with Jack Ross coming in to go through. So they'll be looking forward to getting to Tannadice, I would say.
Europe as well.
Plastic Park and all that. Dundee United fans very jealous of them having a wee trip to Holland right now. That's no bad. Is
it the way like this week? Is it?
Good question.
For sale for the home leg.
Good question.
It was a nightmare on ticket sales. We'll come to ticket sales later on the show, because
you brought up a point earlier.
It's a wee thing. Right, are you wanting my league prediction? Is that what I want?
Give me a moment. I'm going to check if Dundee United are home on Thursday.
I thought so.
And then it's on the 11th of August that they're away from home. So next week they're away from home.
Tough time. It'll be a cracking night at Tannadice on Thursday night.
It will be.
Right, bottom of the league, St Johnstone.
Okay. Right.
Second bottom.
Do you want like the teams up for
No. I know the teams that are in the Premiership. Thank you very much.
Well, just
second bottom will be Livingston. Controversial, some might say.
Livingston. I think I had Livingston 10th.
10th will be St Mirren. 9th will be Hibernian. 8th will be...
9th for Hibs. 9th. Everybody here had them 6th and 7th.
Oh mate, seeing a month ago I had them bottom. Honest to Christ.
Yeah.
Oh
Christ. Okay. Right.
8th will be Kilmarnock. 7th Ross County.
Right.
6th will be Dundee United.
Oh wow, 6th. I put them 3rd.
5th. You put Dundee United in 3rd. Wow.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Put them 3rd.
Okay, that shocked me a little bit. 5th will be... Oh no, Christ, hold on, no, sorry. 6th will be Motherwell.
Wow.
That's mainly because I forgot to put Motherwell in. I forgot to put Motherwell.
It's a wild card, just go
I
with
forgot
it,
to put Motherwell.
Just go with it, own it.
Hold on. I had Kelly in 8th, didn't I?
Yes.
I meant to put Motherwell in 8th.
Right, so Kelly 7th.
And then Kelly 7th, and then I think I had Ross County 6th.
Yeah, so Ross County 6th, yeah.
And then I had...
Then you would have Dundee United in 5th.
Dundee United, Aberdeen, Hearts. Rangers, Celtic. I just, how can, I mean, you can sit here, like, I could sit here and say Rangers are going to win the league, but looking at the two teams just now, Celtic are better equipped to win the league title, in my opinion. Like last season, I think I said Rangers, so because at that point, Rangers were better equipped to win the league title. I mean, I could be wrong both times. That would make, equally people happy.
Aye.
Yeah.
So that's nice. Nice to have your prediction. I think that the only people then we need.
I think.
Wait, Calum, have you done yours? Were you on the show?
No.
So you haven't done yours. Have you not got? If you want to through the show, feel free. We'll come to you at the end. I'm not going to make you force it, rush it out. But we'll get it. So we need just yours, and I think everybody else has done it, hasn't they?
Partick Thistle going to win the championship.
That's it. Same. I said Partick.
They need a centre half though. I'm a bit worried about the defence.
I said Partick.
I mean, going forward, yeah.
So I said for Championship Partick, League 1 I said Dunfermline, and League 2 I said
League 1 I'll go Dunfermline as well. League 2 I'll go Annan.
I think I went Elgin.
Is that your fresh air pick? You love one of them.
Aye.
And you'll start backing them every week now.
Aye. Went the Elgin.
Like when you said Airdrie to go down, they finished second. That was some laugh.
Listen, I was optimistic.
I mean, to be fair, we all predicted Dunfermline to go up last year and they fucking finished 9th.
Aye, let's just not put you through the misery, boy. Right, Championship. I'll let Calum think about it. And we'll come to you maybe.
We'll start at Dens. Let me just roll in here. Let's start at Dens Park.
Right. Okay.
So that was a spicy fixture at the weekend because obviously Thistle, Stranraer, Inverness, Hearts, the brothers in arms from 2020. They're still not forgotten. And they went up there trying to fucking make Dundee suffer for that resubmitted vote about the league ending. But that's still, I mean, the fact that Brian Graham and Ian McCall both mentioned it at full time.
Did they?
They're clearly not over it.
Aye.
But that's their payback, of course. They were, I mean, I think they were 3-0 up, were they not? And then they fucking went 3-2. Stephen Lawless scored for Thistle. See if Stephen Lawless gets promoted after the shambles he was last season. I'll be so upset. But yeah, it was a great result for Thistle, to be fair. And if you're Dundee, it's not the start you were after whatsoever.
No, not at all. Two of the league favourites, you could say.
What's his face? I always get Gary Bowyer and Lee Bowyer mixed up, but it is Gary Bowyer.
Yes, Lee Boyer's the one.
that was fighting with Kieran Dyer.
Yes, that's right.
Gary Boyer used to manage Salford, I think.
Aye.
And Birmingham, if I remember correctly.
So it was a big result for Thistle. Throughout the rest of the league, Arbroath managed to hold on to a 0-0 draw after being sent down to 10 men.
Sam O'Brien sent off very harshly.
Yes, one of the best players in the Championship
Best
last
defender in the
season.
Championship,
Hamilton and Greenock Morton, that was another red card affair. Hamilton went down to 10, but that finished 1-1.
Yeah, Morton are in a bit of a fucking state, as they always are. I remember I said to you like years ago, keep an eye on Morton, they'll make you laugh. I said it in the show as well.
Yeah.
They are the shambles club. They still don't have like enough
The
players.
shambles club.
They've got like 4 players in reserve.
It must, like, fair play to the likes of Evan on Twitter, but it must be some misery being a Morton fan.
Fuck off. They've done better than Dunfermline over the last 10 years.
Well, must be some misery being a Dunfermline fan. I, honestly, like I you know, I always think to myself, and I wouldn't do it right for a million years. I always think to myself, like, how can people support an English team over a Scottish team and all blah 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 and all the rest of it? But then sometimes I'm like, see if I wasn't a Celtic fan, I don't think I'd have packed it in.
You'd have been a Hy-Vee by now.
A Hy-Vee, aye.
I mean, he was to and fro with it. When Rodgers left, sure, he was to and fro.
When McGinn was there, it was, you know, we were flirtatious at times. Anyway,
Stokesy, you know. McGeoch, you know, they're all the selling boys. Huh?
Cove got off to a flyer in the Championship with a 2-0 win. Mitch Megason, he's just a legend, isn't he?
He's an absolute legend.
2
Goal
goals.
machine. Can we talk about Rory McAllister? Did either of you see the Rory McAllister story?
So he didn't turn up to training or
No,
something?
no.
Was
So
that, what was it again? He booked a holiday.
He booked a holiday.
Aye, he
for when
booked
they
a
were supposed to play
holiday.
Dundee away in September. Jim McIntyre was like, see you later.
Why would you book a holiday for when you're playing?
I mean, he's a plumber. He's busy, you know.
Yes,
he's a fucking his own plumbing company.
Aye, true, I suppose. It probably makes me
Aberdeen tried to sign him for years. He just wouldn't go.
Aye, because
lose money.
Aye, lose money.
It's a sad state of affairs. But yeah, he's left and he's gone to Montrose. I'm pretty sure that's where he went. I think he went to Montrose. Yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, thank fuck Wraith Rovers got beat because it's always nice to see.
It's a good result for Cove as well. Obviously, they're flying their way through the divisions and maybe try to make a go of it this year as well.
Dunfermline sold about 2,500 season tickets in League One, and Wraith are on their big push for 1,300.
Shows you the
levels, mate.
Levels.
I mean, they need as many season tickets they can get as they continue to pay the wages of a rapist. But
shows you who runs the kingdom of FIFA.
It does, doesn't it?
And then finally, the last game, it wasn't too exciting up at Inverness.
Good result for Queen's Park, though.
It was a good result for Queen's Park. 1-0 was the score. Billy Mackay started the season strong with a goal. But yeah, don't watch it. I'm not going to lie.
Inverness have got to try and have a really good goal this year.
Yeah.
After coming pretty close last year, they've got to have a real good goal this year.
I think that's who Kennedy's predicted.
Yeah,
they'll
be up there for me.
Yeah, they definitely will be. So that was the Championship, which are you sad to be missing out the Championship this season?
Obviously, aye, but you know.
Right, well, we may as well move to your mob.
Aye, well, the
League
film
One.
were fucking atrocious for 45 minutes on Saturday. We were really short on players. Really short.
How are you finding McPake so far?
Oh, I love him. I'll come on to it. I mean, we're so short on players. He said it himself. We only had 2 subs. We had a full bench, but we only had 2 we could use. We had like 16-year-olds on the bench, and then Whiting and Todorov. Chris Hamilton, who was signed from Hearts, who was at Arbroath, has been unbelievable. He's suspended. Dorrans is injured. Still picking up a huge fucking wage though. And yeah, we just really need players in. So it didn't really matter how we won at the weekend, as long as we did. Obviously, we drew
It was the Peter Grant derby.
Yes, we drew with Alloa last week in the League Cup, and they beat us on pens. So we had to win. I mean, Brian Rice said it was a travesty that Alloa didn't get anything from the game. But Dunfermline had plenty of chances and I think deserved to win it. First half we were atrocious, but then what I loved, and this is credit to McPake, manager wouldn't change the shape at half time and we were magic, and then made 2 subs and we were great.
Now,
brilliant.
I don't mean to throw you in the doghouse, but I just think it's hilarious how it's came full circle when McPake was like appointed Dundee manager, because I remember sitting
No,
on
not
this-
when he was appointed.
well,
I did see numerous times he should have been sacked, and I was always amazed that he was never sacked. Still stand by that.
I remember there was a lot of shows in the early days of TSF.
But then when he
were
was
critical.
sacked, that was a shambles. I mean, they were fucking ahead of St Johnstone in the league, and they were in the quarter-final Scottish Cup.
Aye, but like, I think he's got to do well.
It was just nice to see a manager look at something in the first half. It wasn't working, he changed the shape and it worked. And then we got the goal in the end. It was a cross that went in, but we didn't get that luck at all last year.
So how's it going to work this year? Just on a personal sort of conversation, how's it going to work this year with you being back home? Are you looking to get to every game?
No, I bought my season ticket, but I mean, I'm not getting use out of it. So,
No.
But I mean, it doesn't.
Just
I'll
to
try
take
and
your
get
time.
when I can. I mean, the Falkirk game in September is the next one I'm eyeing up. So
Aye.
we'll just see. I mean, I'm still busy at work just now. So.
Yeah. Because as long as you get to see it.
I'll get to see. I mean, the streaming overseas and VPN's a wonderful thing. So, I've
I've not bought a VPN yet.
I did before when I was
Talking about VPNs, if there's any great VPN companies
Yes.
who would love to sponsor our show,
or any companies for that matter.
or any companies, alongside the wonderful sponsors we already have, G4 Claims.
Yes, but we're an absolute hooer for sponsors, so we'll take as many as we can.
Have your brand here
Yeah,
on this table.
I mean, if it's like a juice company, I could just fucking ditch the Coca-Cola and start
Prime,
drinking.
give some Prime.
KSI and Logan Paul.
Prime
You notice how
hydration.
carefully I threw that, so
I know, I was
planted
planning. I was like, David,
planted it on the
get in
rug
the
over
car.
there. It's empty, Greg, if you're watching. I didn't stay in the fucking
He has stayed in the carpets, just charge him. Right, anyway, Dunfermline started off with a win around the league as well.
Falkirk didn't. Yes.
I should It's just like you take League One. That was
I'll
great.
take League One. It was great because I can't remember the last time Wraith got beat. Falkirk drew and Dunfermline won the same weekend. It's
been a while.
It's like, it makes me so happy. It's like everything, like you've got three. I don't even know what
It's
I'm going
this
with.
boy, right? This boy moans at me for having fucking stickers on my laptop, and yet the neutrals for Falkirk and
They're not watching. They're not watching. To be fair, they probably watched loads last season. To be fair,
just to see you take the mic.
Yeah.
Aye, but Falkirk did. They drew 0-0 with Montrose.
Yes, you know, but it just shows it could easily have been us that drew, and it's going to be It's going to be a very tight league, I think. Get the rest of the results up because I don't fucking know what they were.
Oh, sorry.
I just know that one. I also know that Clyde humped.
Clyde beat Queen of the South
Queen of the South,
4-1.
who went 1-0 up and then ended up getting humped in the end, which is a good
Yeah.
result for us as well. Because you look at the, you look at the four people you would tip for that league: Dunfermline, Falkirk, Queens, and Kelty.
Yeah,
Kelty get beat off
Kelty FC Edinburgh 2-0.
and Airdrie did win. Airdrie will be up there too.
Nah, relegation.
No, Airdrie will be up there. FC Edinburgh, it's an interesting one. Obviously, they beat Kelty the weekend.
I don't get this whole. So
Oh,
why
I don't
did they
get it
actually
either.
change their
Oh,
name?
fuck knows.
Because they had a nice badge, you know, the rest of it. I know it's
Edinburgh
shit.
City's a better name anyway.
I know.
Why don't you call himself Edinburgh FC?
I don't know. I honestly, I mean, I don't understand.
I don't really get it either. They're at Meadowbank now, and initially the capacity was 500, and all Dunfermline fans have gone mental because we'll sell 500.
Where is
on our own.
Meadowbank again?
I have no idea. It's in Edinburgh somewhere.
Aye.
But we'll sell 500 on our own easy for that game. So we're like, well, how are we going to get tickets? They then increased it to like 1,200, and Dunfermline got a 750 allocation, and I think it might be sold out already.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to that one, but it would be nice to take another ground off. It's like a wee sports centre with a running track. It's horrendous.
I think I've been.
Yeah, maybe
think
because they played at they were playing at Ainsley Park last year where Spartans play, and I went there for a pre-season game. It was a bit shite as well, but
I remember that actually. I remember that. Anyway, that was Scottish League 1 this weekend. So David very happy with the Dunfermline.
yeah, joint top of the league.
Yes, you're like Celtic looking down on
Falkirk.
the Falkirk. Like, aye.
That's the form we have found.
And,
Macbeth's been around.
Get it going. Right, and then finally in League 2 the game this weekend, Stranraer beat Ann Athletic 1-0. Bonnyrigg off to a good start with a 2-0 win over Forfar. Steny 1-0 over Albion Rovers. Dumbarton beat a 10-men, Stirling Albion 2-0, and finally East Fife beat
It'll
Elgin
take us a couple of
3-1.
months before we can start making comments on League 2 because we'll start remembering who's won games.
Yes.
That's basically what we do.
Aye.
when it comes to
Oh,
League
they've
2.
carried on their good form, aye.
Aye, they didn't win last week.
Oh, they're in a slump, them.
I'll tell ya.
The manager, that guy, he'll be in trouble. He'll be in trouble. But my boys, Elgin, they didn't go off to a great start on their championship.
My boys Aaron didn't do very well either.
So you know.
Oh, you know what we have to
the
talk
knowledge
about
showing.
predictions. You know what we have to talk about? They've got 6 out of 6 in the Premiership,
Did he?
including 4 correct scores. I think.
Aye.
Genuinely,
Christ.
that's pretty phenomenal.
That's what happens when you pick draws.
I know. I've never put a draw in a coop in my life.
My dad does a draw cup every weekend.
10 draws or something.
Aye, you get us a sherry. It's a national pools thing, and they get a sherry like I don't know, £5 million or something if you win. Never
Never
won
put
it.
£5 million in it if he's done it every weekend.
He's done it every weekend for the last like 30 years. I
Oh
think.
Christ, I mean, that's a lot of money, man.
Is aye. One weekend about 3
That's
years
your
ago.
inheritance down the drain on fucking draws.
One weekend, he only puts like £1 a week on it. I think. I don't know how much it is. Anyway, one weekend.
How many weekends for? Catch you later.
We don't need to think about that. So one weekend about 3 years ago, he was one draw off having the amount you needed for. Like, I think he would have won something like 700 grand.
That's £1,500
Oh,
on
Christ.
draws.
On draws, aye.
You madman, Stevie!
He's not a gambler.
Get both teams to score on, son.
I always tell him, like, you'd be better picking wing. See, the thing is, he doesn't even pick the games, he just picks the same numbers every week. And obviously it's the pools, so it's like he picks the games for you. I'm like,
You know, I used to watch like sports in a match day as a kid, and it would come up with the results, the pools. I never had a clue what was going
Aye,
on.
I get what you mean. Anyway, right, so, Christ, David, that photo you put of me in the Talk Scottish Football hanging is just
I had a worse one, but I did.
minging that.
Still.
Absolutely minging. I love the Red Bull Racing t-shirt, but Yeah. Anyway, Calum, have you got a league table over there?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
I've just finished
lovely.
it.
So I think you're the last person. McGinley. We still need
Where's
McGinley.
McGinley been?
Oh, he's hibernating, man. He's been working like a dog. You know, he's on that Just Eat grind.
People in Coatbridge, or he probably delivered my takeaway last night.
Right, Calum, from 12th to 1st, give us a run for your table.
St Johnson, 12th.
Right.
That's pretty agreed. Livy, 11th.
Right, okay.
St Mirren, 10th.
So you've got the same bottom three there.
Motherwell, 9th. Hibs, 8th.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
County, 7th.
Right,
Kelly, 6th.
right,
Dundee United, 5th.
okay.
Aberdeen, 4th.
Right,
Hearts, 3rd.
okay.
And I think I'd probably guess the top two.
So I think we only had two differences.
You said very similar.
Kelly County and Motherwell and Dundee and something wrong around. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, interesting.
And then top two, I think Rangers second, Celtic first.
Who's winning the cups? Did these cover that?
No, we did not actually. We did not. Do you think there could be a surprise
Yes,
cup winner?
Hearts are going to win a cup this year.
You think so?
I think so.
I just feel like
I think Hearts.
the job needs to be done before the finals, because I don't see Celtic nor Rangers losing any cup finals anytime soon.
I really think Hearts are going to be strong. I think they can be stronger this year, and I think in a one-off game, I think it's going to be close.
They were
between Hearts.
fucking mints in that final against Rangers.
They were
mints.
Yeah.
Absolutely raw. I've never seen a worse cup final performance in my life, and I mean that. You would not think there was a trophy on the line. Oh no, Motherwell were better that day than what Hearts were against Rangers.
In the League Cup final, 2019.
Oh, these were fucking atrocious.
horrendous.
They did win the cup though.
Aye, but Hearts were. If they want to win a cup, they can't play like that in the cup finals.
Oh, it's a new team, mate. Lauren Shanklin.
I wonder how Shanklin will do.
In terms of a front two,
Right, we're 45 minutes in. We've actually done quite well today, and we're on to pretty much the last
no
segment.
quiz today.
No, I did, because we were in a rush and such. I left.
If we race through it, we can do a quiz in the F1.
I had a quiz for the F1 once.
We'll race through it and we'll get to the F1.
We'll race through it.
Anyone who likes the F1,
Yes,
new podcast, aptly named TSF1.
Yes, I think that's clever.
It's very clever.
It's a shame there was somebody on YouTube with the name, but
Yeah, but
we've overtook them already.
I've just decided that. Yeah, have we actually?
Aye, we've overtook them.
Well,
aye.
fuck them.
Aye, so it's our name now. Sorry if you're a fan of TSF, mate. So anyway, we will have another show this week. Div is in the middle of organising it.
Probably on Thursday.
Yeah, to preview the weekend's games. So Div is in here anyway, and he said thoughts on Div's exquisite knowledge.
Yeah.
After getting 6 out of 6 predictions right this past
Oh,
weekend.
we've covered it back to draws.
Used to put a coupon on.
Should have put Coupon on.
We won a wee group coupon at the weekend.
Did you?
Brilliant, aye, 530 quid it came
Who
up.
did you have on?
So we all picked, there was 5 of us, and then we picked a team each. I took Wickham, so that came up. Somebody took the Pars,
Aye.
so that came up.
Who was that?
Good question, actually.
Some fucking idiot.
It would have been Jai, David, Mark, or Kieran, one of them.
Plenty of idiots there. To pick from.
So it was Wickham, Dunfermline, Northampton, who scored to make it 3-2 with about 5 to go. And then there was 2 other teams. I can't remember who the other 2 were now. A couple of English teams, Blackburn and some other mob. If they do
Nice.
save. So aye, we all won about £100 each, which
That's
was
not bad,
lovely.
right?
It was nice wee treat on a Saturday
Fill
afternoon.
your car up this week.
Oh Christ, don't even fucking remind me, man. Right, Adam Adderlad, he says Magnums or Bucky. I love both.
I don't think I've maybe I have tasted. Have I tasted a Magnum? I don't think I have.
White chocolate one.
I have tasted it once, but I don't see the point. I mean, you just drink Bucky. The only thing I
Magnums
think is
get
Magnum's
you.
easier to
Magnums
sneak.
get you levered, like absolutely
They're easier to
levered.
sneak into places.
Oh
too.
aye. Do you have a preference, Calum?
Probably Bucky.
Yeah, but I love Bucky's my like a way to drink, you know. Put it in an Evian bottle for the bus. And,
Poetic.
but I remember the Magnums. I got 3 of them in London before the Scotland and England game. Sleeping at half time. I was absolutely finished. It wasn't all I had. Obviously, I was drinking pints on top of that and other concoctions of alcohol. But oh my God, sleeping by half time. It was the Magnums that sent me, honestly. Right, Aaron asked thoughts on Davy Martindale's appearance
Can
on the
I just
Battlefield
quickly
pod.
go with this one? This is a formal invitation for Davy Martindale to come on TSF. Yeah.
I think we could get him on.
Oh, I mean, you should listen. I think that'd be great. I have
Well,
loads of stuff I want to
I'll
ask.
leave Div and you for it. but, I mean,
No, you can sit there and hold them tight. Well, I mean,
I don't know if you've seen it, Davey, but last year I called you a terrorist. Your thoughts on it? Why are you such a terrorist?
It's like actually reverse the Jim White loud up. Why are you such a terrorist? No, listen. I mean, yeah, it's funny though because like, if people genuinely think that he doesn't try to beat Rangers, they're fucking off their head.
Yeah, I think that the thing
it doesn't help. It doesn't help the accusation. I'll give him that.
He shouldn't.
Why shouldn't he?
Not while he's in management, because this is the thing, right? I'm going to be 100% completely honest. If Jim Goodwin was to appear on the Celtic the Thunder,
I mean, he's got a season ticket. At
I know, but if he was to appear on the Celtic the Thunder, there would be an outrage.
But what's more? So you think that going on a podcast is worse than?
Listen, I'm not. I personally, I'm not that bothered by it. I just think that they should maybe look at it in a wider context and go, okay, maybe when I'm done with this job, I'll come.
As long as Livingston's a club, don't give a shit. Who gives a fuck what you think?
I suppose. That's what I'm saying. I personally don't really care. I think I'm just saying if I was to go on one side of the fence,
and Livingston's not got a support to care anyway.
I think that you should try your best if you're going on these things to make sure they're neutral sort of things. So come on, TSF.
Okay. You better not shit the bed if he does come on. You can come and have a go at him.
Well, if you want, I would generally look him in the eye and ask him, why are you a terrorist?
No, ask him, you'll tell him, because that's what you did.
Why are
you
you
didn't give him a chance to respond.
No, don't even bother answering, David. You know what you're beast. Right, Ian Hamilton, he says, of all the famous supporters of each team, who's the one person the guys detest who supports their team, i.e. Alex Salmon Hearts and George Galloway's Celtic?
That's a great question.
As we always celebrate those we like. Plus, can Ryan confirm he's heading to Cardiff or not to see Drew Slay Reigns?
Not with those prices, you're not.
First of all, I've got a ticket.
Have you?
Aye.
Jesus, you're a madman.
We scammed the system. I'll tell you, it's a story for another day. We got good tickets, but I'm not entirely sure if we're going yet or not.
Okay.
So, might be some tickets. Anyway, Calum, I'll start with you. Any Celtic celebrity fans that you detest? Of course, we've seen James McAvoy do the Paradise Windfall at the weekend. But what's your opinions on Rod?
Wanker.
Would you give it Rod? See, the thing is, Rod is an absolute spud, right? But I love his music. Love his music.
I know, but
he can love his music, don't he? Love him for his football stuff.
He's a fucking clown, isn't he?
Ruth Davidson.
She a Pars fan?
She's a Pars fan.
Is she? Wow.
Never knew that.
Wow.
Big Calum McKenzie.
Try to think if there's any other celebrity Celtic fans that I can't see.
I'm sitting here saying I detest her. I mean, it's a bit strong, isn't it?
Well, she's a Tory, isn't she?
It's not a politics I've got a problem. No, I'm joking. Detest is a very strong word.
Detest is a strong word. Dislike would be.
There's lots of non-celebrity film fans I detest. So that's a story for another day.
I'm sure Calum doesn't like a lot of Celtic fans, including myself.
To be fair, I'm sure me and you both fall into that. The film fans that fucking hate me and Celtic fans that also fucking hate me.
True. I'm trying to think of like celebrity Celtic fans.
Who else have got as a celebrity film fan? I can't think of anyone else really. I mean, yeah, I'm struggling a little bit. I'm probably number 2 to be honest.
Right, so Celtic supporters here. I love how they just throw it. Look at this list.
See if Snoop Dogg's on that list.
Jay-Z is apparently. So Wikipedia I've got, here's some of the standout names that I could see here. So Finn Balor, apparently a Celtic fan, probably just because he's Irish. We've got Frankie Boyle, Susan Boyle, Kim Bridges, Alison Brie, apparently a Celtic fan.
Alison Brie?
She's an actress. She was in that show about the women wrestlers. She played the main character. You'd recognise her face if you've seen her. She's a very big actress. Lewis Capaldi, Jared Butler, Billy Connolly, Martin Compson, Lana Del Rey.
She's a Liverpool fan, she's not.
Lana Del Rey, apparently. Let's see, Robert Downey Jr. after obviously the photo. They've got Noel Gallagher.
You know who I'm taking as a celebrity film? I'm taking Caroline Weir. Plays for Real Madrid now. That's pretty cool.
Ah, that's right. Aye, that's true. I remember you telling me. I'm just looking for Michelle Keegan. She's down here. Jay-Z. Don't know.
She's not a Crawley Town fan, Michelle Keegan.
I think so. Aye. Who else? I'm just looking to see if there's any other. This is who has made this up. Ira Meta, of course. He's a big Celtic fan. Ira Meta.
Yeah, but you've got more Twitter followers than him, do that?
Yeah, aye. Ira Meta. Aye.
Is he that famous?
Paolo Nutini, of course. Brendan Rodgers. Wayne Rooney.
Brendan Rodgers. He's got a fucking cheat with that one. He's definitely edited that Wikipedia himself and put himself on it.
Seamus, Trevor Sinclair, Snoop Dogg, Rod
Steven Gerrard would have been that rest about 3 years ago.
Aye, he would have been. So there you go. That's apparently all of our.
Les Battersby from Coronation Street.
Right.
Telling you. Let me find a photo. There's a photo of Les Battersby from Coronation Street with Sammy the Tammy at the family game. I'm telling you.
I think you should.
And we can edit. I'm putting this.
Putting that in the thumbnail.
Let's go to the thumbnail. Oh, let's play this.
I'm pretty sure I remember you telling me about this.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Why, man?
Look at this. Les Battersby for Christ, with Sammy Tammy.
What was that in aid of?
I've absolutely no idea.
Incredible. Right, Sideshow Bob. Thoughts on Alexander being sacked? Thought it was the only call that could be made. Who do you think they'll go for?
Sorry, I'm still thinking Les Battersby.
He's
Look at him, he's buzzing. We'll edit these photos in.
I think the title of this podcast should be The Celebrity Fan You Detest the Most.
It's like a photo of Les Battersby.
Jay-Z in a Celtic top.
It's like I'm a big staunch Emmerdale fan.
Is there like a story behind that? Jay-Z in a Jay-Z Celtic? Because like there's going rapper Jay. Oh, aye, that's right. The photo of him in the sky. There he is. Big GZ with a Celtic scarf. That's the thumbnail. Him and him. That's your thumbnail this week.
JZ and Les Battersby. Why we call them JZ all of a sudden?
Right. Anyway, who do you think there's any names that come to mind for replacing Alexander Cal?
Alexander who?
None off the
Oh,
top of my
Graham
head.
Alexander.
Alexander Graham Bell.
He'd be fucking well. I tell you.
Mark
None
McGee.
that's come to mind.
Yeah, I mean, on a serious note though, I mean,
Wow.
wow.
Who's at work? Stubbs get a job.
Tommy Wright.
Stubbsy. Aye,
Stubbsy.
He loves it
Fuck
up here.
Stubbsy.
I mean, he just loves Scottish football.
Who was Stubbsy's last job again?
St Mirren.
Was it St Mirren?
Lasted about 2
Fucking
weeks.
horrendous job he done there.
Horrendous at Rotherham too.
Aye, that's right.
And Bar winning the Scottish Cup, which I know is a bit of a stupid thing to say, didn't get him promoted to 3 attempts.
Yeah.
So, you know, 2 attempts overall.
Okay, a lot of questions.
There was
but-
something came to mind there. Who was I going to say? Aye, Tommy Wright seems like a decent job for
for Motherwell boss.
yeah. Someone said something about if Stephen Robinson has a shitter at St Mirren,
Yeah.
go back. Oren Kearney, remember him? It was at St
Oh,
Mirren?
that's
He-
right.
someone like that.
Aye. He done a decent job
He
at
done
St
not
Did a
bad.
Mirren.
very good job at St Mirren, yeah.
Aye, some decent shouts.
Stephen Glass.
Stephen Glass. I'm going to go for Peter Grant. That's my pick.
So when I
Right.
see him talking about football now, I just think.
Oh,
who's
I
good?
forgot to tell you. So, Maritz Jens,
Uh-huh.
we went to the fan presser last week. For
Was
Maritz.
Pedro there?
No, but Maritz, good friends.
Was Peter Grant?
Peter Grant, he was his coach at Fulham.
He's going to be shite.
He was his coach at Fulham. So,
I'm telling you
shout out to Declan McConville. He asked the question. He was like, "So you worked with Celtic legend Peter Grant when you were at Fulham? Could you give us your thoughts on Peter?" What are they bumming him up, man? Peter,
We could do a
fantastic.
documentary on how Peter Grant is in the last year of Scottish football, from the Eddie Howe stuff right the way through to fucking
Aye.
signing Dunfermline and just
You could-
and how he brought Irish to Scotland.
Aye, pretty much, aye. Right, okay. What players impressed you the most from the opening weekend?
Matty Todd for Dunfermline, outstanding, superb young man.
I'm still getting to Tratawura for Ross County.
Okay.
Exactly.
No, the right back for Aberdeen, Richardson, thought it was really good.
I'm getting it to big John Mibley.
Joel Nibley. Yeah.
Big John Mibley. He did actually impress me. I thought he looked good.
To be fair, I thought Tavernier stood up when he needed to for Rangers.
Yeah.
He did stand up. And,
I'll be happy with the predictions that we've given so
not
far.
having any Tavernier praise at all.
No, not at all. And
I'm not having my predictions because I still think I got them wrong both times.
and then to end off the show, or end off this segment, Lee Johnson seems like a right cunt, doesn't he? Bet his favourite crisps are roast beef monster munch, the wanker. Somebody really, Adam really dislikes Lee Johnson.
Lee Johnson does seem like a bit of an arse piece.
That was really strong. Does your gran and that still watch the shows?
No, I fucking hope not now.
Aye,
That's why I don't use words like that. I think we should be bleeping that out. I mean, I have told you
Strong-worded.
right from the start.
It's not me that said it.
It was you that said it.
Well, it was in the comments.
You didn't have to read it out.
This is a...
You're too lazy to go and edit and bleep it, that's the thing.
Of course.
This is your fucking full-time job now and you still won't put a bleep for a C word.
It's only the C word.
You know what I mean? Have you not, since you're full-time on YouTube, it's actually harder to get hold of to do YouTube stuff.
I'm always busy.
You're
Busy,
sleeping
mate.
and playing
Busy.
F1. That's literally all you do.
The sad fact is, it is about 6 hours a night I'm playing that
I know,
F1.
and you're impossible to get a hold of when it's happening.
Well, you know...
What's the TikTok password?
Don't know.
You made it!
Yeah, about a year
I
ago.
know, but there is a talk of Scottish people TikTok and we can't get into it.
I'm probably still logged into it. I'll find it later on. I'll reset it.
Reset the
Your like
password.
videos are right.
Because we're coming to TikTok.
I'll come to TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's TSF1, we've got a TikTok big time.
Going to TikTok, yeah.
Because everyone, I mean...
I'm going to start doing the filters and all that. I'm going to build my driver's
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
Do.
You need to be like TikTok's so easy if you just say something stupid and we're great at that, so...
Aye.
What's what you're looking at there? I shat myself.
There's people just doing this there, by the way, because you wonder what we're looking at. Right, anyway, that's it for TSF today. I think that's us at the end of the show.
I hate not having a quiz.
No, I like having a quiz, but we've wrapped up in a nice time. Plus, we need to get out of here for like 12, so we better move on. Right, anything you want to say before we go, David?
Why have you got 2 photos on your desktop titled Ange Drip?
Oh, because it's Ange.
Surely one was enough, no?
It's like, because one's the Photoshop file.
Oh, right, okay.
That's Ange.
That's the unphotoshopped one.
Yes. Anyway, David, when's the next time you'll be down the road?
Don't know.
So we'll see you in Zoom.
I might be on the channel though.
We'll see you in StreamYard.
We should. Have you got an Elgato?
Yes.
We should do pro clubs.
No, we should do it. Well, the new FIFA's out soon, innit?
It's not got crossplay for pro clubs though. It's just.
Nah, well, you download both versions of the game. And all that. We're getting a bit out of hand. Right, Calum, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
David, safe journeys up the road.
Over and out.
We'll see you in TSF1. Cheerio.